This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face, you with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game, talk trash all you want. To me it's all the same, you won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Mr. Robert Williamson III. This week, the HPT's on the road at the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago, and our plan for tonight is to give out a whole lot of cash.
Speaking of a whole lot of cash, the players have come out in droves for this tournament. Over $600,000 the prize pool, $142,000 going to our champion tonight.
I don't know what it is about the Chicagoland area, but it seems to attract some great poker players. And tonight on this show, we will showcase their talent. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and meet those players. And most importantly, take a look at the prize pool.
James, there's over $600,000 in this prize pool today. $142,000 up top for our new champion that we're going to crown sometime tonight.
Well, last week we started this final table with 9 players. We lost 4, so tonight your final 5 will battle it out. And leading the top, they call him Narco Cop, Mike Y, and right behind him, Mike D, a battle of the Mikes. Don't count out Jeremy, Greg, and Rob. It's anybody's game, and it's the HPT. Blinds are $50,000, $100,000 with a $10K ante. And Robbie, I'm really excited, man. This is going to be fun.
It already has been fun. What do you mean? This is fantastic.
Now, if you missed our show last week, you saw a lot of fireworks, and I have a feeling that's going to continue on tonight's episode. Action will be on the 2-seat of Mike. The reason they call him Narco Cop is he works with the Chicago Police Department in the narcotics department. He's going to raise to $200,000 with his king deuce. Rob's going to fold on the button, and now to the small blind we go. Mike D waking up with pocket 8s. We remember him from last week's episode. Picked up aces not once, but twice.
So very, very nice.
Good friend of mine once said, nothing sweeter than a repeater. And Mike D's going to re-raise now a 3-bet to $450,000 over to Jeremy. He's the man with the hat with the mustache. The hat? Yeah, he's wearing the hat with the mustache on his hat. It's interesting. It's different. I kind of like it. He folds. Greg gets out of the way, and action back to Narco Cop in the 2-seat. That's what happens when you raise with King Deuce. When you get raised back.
What I was thinking.
You took the words right out of your mouth.
Sure did.
But he's not going to go down without a fight. It's a re-raise to 1 million chips.
Wow.
Boy, do you like this, Robbie?
Well, I'll give him the Courage Award. He has a lot of courage.
Now, remember, at the end of last week's episode, Narco Cop had won a couple of big pots, so I guess he's just kind of playing that momentum right now. And now a big decision here for Mike D. Those 8s get smaller and smaller with re-raises like that.
8 shrunk.
And it's going to work. The winner of the hand is Narco Cop, and we'll step aside for a quick break. We'll be right back with more action.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the HPT here at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in East Chicago. We are down to our final 5 players and the action is just heating up. Let's get back to the cards.
Mike Y is up on top of the leaderboard, extending his lead. We call him Narco Cop here. Mike D fell just a little bit, but still in second place, and we're going to call it a tie for third.
We started with 432 entrants. We paid out 45. 5 remain, ladies and gentlemen, and up top, $142,386. Action is on Jeremy. He is a pest control engineer. He's going to fold that hand over to the 1-seat now of Greg. Greg looks down at 9 deuce. He's on the button. Not good enough to play, even on the button. He folds his hand. Now over to Narco Cop, who's just on fire here at this final table. Looks down at Queen 10.
I guess this new style of chip leading is to use these chips like a bludgeon.
And I got a feeling he's a tough cop. I have a feeling that the people that he arrests, the bad guys, if you will, probably have a little bit of fear of Narco Cop, as do the players here at this final table. The flop is Jack 9-4, and we'll start with Mike.
Mike flops an open-end straight draw, but Rob's got a small piece of this with bottom pair.
Mike's 38 years old. Over $100,000 in career earnings. We talked about it last week. His plans for the cash. He's going to buy a new car for his wife. What a good guy. Happy wife, happy life.
Amen.
He's going to bet 125,000. Action over to Rob. And Rob is going to make the call. He's going to hang around for a street or two. Caught the 4. Turn card now is the 10 of clubs. That improves Mike's hand. He's going to check over to Rob. And
I like that check. It's kind of a pot size controlling. You don't want this pot to get too big.
now we'll see if Rob decides to bet this street.
Well, if he does, it's more of a bluff than anything else because he only has bottom pair and a gut shot straight draw. That, by the way, if it gets there, the 8, that makes Mike a higher straight.
Yeah, Rob doesn't want to see the straight, even though he doesn't know that. He's going to make a bet of $165,000, and basically this is a bluff here, right, Robert?
Absolutely. He is definitely, I believe he knows he does not have the best hand right now, but he's trying to steal this pot. But unfortunately for him, he only bet $165,000 into a $500K pot.
And Narco Cop has a lot of chips. He's going to make that call easily. And we go to the river card. It's the 7 of hearts.
Rob's semi-bluff turned into 2 pair here. Even though there is 4 cards to a straight on the board, he might not bet this. He might. I don't know.
It's going to take a pretty big bet by Mike, and Mike's going to check. So action over to Rob. If I'm Rob, I'm just happy with my 2 pair. It's a pot of almost $900,000. I might just check back and scrape the pot.
Yeah, the problem with betting here is if you get raised, you can't call. You just have to muck. So,
well, I guess we're both wrong. You just got an extra 200,000 chips as Narco Cop makes the call, and the winner of the hand is Rob. He told me he played most of day 2 with less than 15 big blinds. This guy is a grinder. He's a proud new uncle. His niece lives in Boston, so a shout out to his family. He's also a trivia nut and loves to play tennis. We got to go hang out with this guy sometime. The action continues. Blinds 50,000, 100,000 with a 10K ante. It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III. The 1 seed of Greg's going to fold. Action now over to Narco Cop. He releases his hand. Over to Rob now on the button. Looks at Queen 8, suited in clubs. Might be good enough for him to play on his button.
Absolutely. When no one enters the pot and it comes around to you and you're on the button, it's awful hard. The cards get really looking bigger and bigger every time I look down at them myself.
So much cash on the line here tonight. Up top, $142,386. And it's a raise here on the button. I like it. He's going to raise it up to $210,000. Mike D's going to get out of the way. Now over to Jeremy. Jeremy got into this through a qualifier. Right now, the minimum cash, Robert, is $30,644. That's 5th place money. Not too bad to qualify in on a $360 qualifier. And it's a pretty good return on your investment, my friend.
Another interesting call here by Jeremy.
Well, he's in the big blind, defending there with his 10 deuce. Doyle Brunson made the hand very popular.
Did make it famous, that's true.
And the flop is King, Jack, deuce. Good news for Jeremy. He paired his deuce, but a couple of clubs out there, and he's got a couple of hearts in his hand. He's going to bet $280,000. And Rob's got to like everything about this.
Well, the main thing Rob loves is it's his button. He's got position. Position is so powerful in these spots.
Yeah, we talk about that each week here on the HPT, how important that position is. And right there shows you that as Jeremy bets first and Rob goes all in. And this can't be a call that Jeremy can make here.
No, not with bottom pair.
Rob's going to take down the pot.
So Jeremy's going to fold, and Rob is going to win the hand. And just like last week, the heater kind of goes from player to player to player every couple of hands. And we'll see who the next heater will be. Blinds are 50,000, 100,000 with a 10K ante. We're so glad you joined us tonight. Make sure to check out our webpage at www.hptpoker.com. Pick an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the unreal cash. Folded around now to Jeremy.
Once again, on the button.
Jeremy looks down at Ace King. That is a real hand.
This is the beautiful part about button raises. Right now, your opponents are going to think this is just an attempt to steal my blinds. But really, in reality, Jeremy's got a monster hand, big slick.
Jeremy's from Joliet, Illinois. I talked about it before. He's an exterminator by day, poker grinder by night. Raises to $280,000. Now action over to the 1 seat of Greg. Looks down at Jack 10. Do you see the Jack 10 maybe overplayed a little bit here on the HPT, especially after a raise? As you see there, Greg folds, but a lot of times you see players calling with that Jack 10.
The King, Queen, and the Jack 10, James. I think are two well overplayed.
And now an all-in by Narco Cop. Action back to Jeremy, and he's going to make the call, ladies and gentlemen. And Mike's going to see the bad news. Jeremy with the ace-king's got him dominated.
And for a large, significant portion of Mike Y's stack as well. Jeremy's the one all in, though, and it's his tournament life at stake.
And the flop is 9-8 deuce, so far, so good for Jeremy.
Very favorable flop for Jeremy.
King of spades.
Jeremy trying to keep his tournament hopes alive. Turn card now is the ace of hearts.
Even better because now only a 3 can help Mike Y, or Jeremy's going to get a double up.
And it's the jack of spades, so a huge pot going over to Jeremy. Just kind of a weird play there by Narco Cop.
Well, in his defense, James, it did look like Jeremy might be stealing from the button. He has showed down a lot of suspicious-looking hands tonight.
All right, folks, we're going to have more exciting final table action right after this quick commercial break. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Mr. Robert Williamson III. This week we're broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. And Robbie, when you look at the chip counts, things got shuffled up a little bit.
They sure did, James. We got a new chip leader. Jeremy's on top. The interesting part, though, is our chip leader for the beginning of this final table is now in last place.
Our champion tonight will go home with the bracelet, the bragging rights, and most importantly, just over $142,000. Great to be back here in the Chicagoland area and such a beautiful, beautiful property here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. Blinds are $50,000, $100,000 with a $10K ante. Action on Jeremy, your new chip leader, trying to win his first HPT title here on national television. Action now on the one seat of Greg. He's going to fold. He started as our chip leader on last week's show, coming into the final table, and he's had a few ups and a few downs. It's a roller coaster ride here, Robbie. Action over to Narco Cop now. Lost a bunch of his chips on the last hand.
Except this ride's a lot better than Disneyland.
It can be. Depends on what seat you're sitting in. So Mike's going to raise to $200,000, this time with the ace-7.
Well, this time he makes a min raise versus last time he made a max raise.
Action over to Mike D. Mike D's in the big blind. He's going to defend with his 10-9. We go to the flop now. It comes out King,
Whoa.
Queen, Jack. Just like that, Mike D flops a straight.
And Mike White still has a straight draw. A 10 will get him out of the trap.
Mike's going to check over to Mike. Mike D checks over to Narco Cop, I should say. It's a little confusing. It's a battle of the Mikes. Narco Cop bets $180,000.
Well, Mike D's going to have to play back here. This is way too of a coordinated flop. I think he's got to raise right now.
I agree with you 100%. He's going to raise to $405,000. He had to raise there, and he did. And I think Mike's just going to fold this hand. So the winner of the pot is going to be Mike D. The story here now is the play of Narco Cop. He's really going the wrong way fast, Robbie.
Yeah, he's gotten involved in a few pots and hasn't been dragging much back, James.
5 players remain at this nationally televised final table. We're so glad you joined us tonight. Want to give a shout out to our Chicagoland affiliate, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago, where you can watch this show every Sunday night. We want to thank them for their support of the Heartland Poker Tour. Let's fold it around now to the one seat of Greg. Greg just not picking up cards. You know, we saw that last week. He just kind of went card dead to end the night.
Well, this particular time, I don't blame him, though. He does have an ace. 5-handed, the values of these hands goes up.
He's going to raise it up to $230,000. The other thing, you know, players get bored. They haven't played in a while. They see an ace. They say, all right, well, I can raise here. Maybe see a flop. Maybe try to turn something out of nothing.
Now we saw Narco Cop fold his ace.
And now action over to Rob.
And he's got another ace, ace-8.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of aces in this deck, my
It
friend.
sure does.
If I see 2 more, we're going to have a problem. And Rob's going to go ahead and make the call with his ace-8. Mike D gets out of the way. Probably folded an ace, I'm guessing. So we go heads up to the flop now, Rob and Greg. And the flop comes out a couple of deuces and a 4, 2 spades. So pretty good flop there for Rob.
And a gut shot straight draw for Greg, so he's got a little piece of this.
Rob's first to act.
Rob checks over to Greg.
He's going to check. And Greg's going to check as well. I thought Greg might bet that, but he's going to elect to see a free card, and we go to the turn card. That's going to be the tray of diamonds. So Greg makes his straight, just like that.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know how Rob's going to get away from this. He's got a straight draw and a flush draw, but he doesn't know that his opponent just made a wheel.
I mean, how do you put Greg on ace-5, raising there with ace-5? You really don't.
You don't. You
260. Rob's gonna
just
bet
can't put him on that hand, or I can't.
Rob's going to bet $260,000. Now, with that coordination out there, you want to see Greg raise here?
Absolutely. I would definitely raise here. Got 2 flush draws. Punish those flush draws.
Yeah, we have the diamond draw, the spade draw, the board's paired. But he's just going to make the call. So he's going to set the trap here, and hopefully it's not a reverse trap as we go to the river and cue the reverse trap.
Well,
it's the 10 of spades.
I guess Greg might have known something that I didn't know, because he made a really good just flat call on the turn. Now Rob's got a flush.
Hindsight's 20/20, my friend. Rob loves the way this hand turned out as he caught his flush there on the end with the 10 of spades. See how much he decides to bet here. Maybe 300,000-400,000. Looks like 390,000 and an all-in.
And an insta call too.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Greg's going to see the bad news. Unbelievable. He's not happy, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a way to end that hand, and that's going to do it for Greg. He's now eliminated, going out in 5th place with almost $31,000 in cash. But Robbie, what happened there?
Greg misplayed the hand. If he makes that raise on the turn instead of the river, he's still here. But now he's gone instead.
And speaking of him being gone, we're now down to our final 4. Let's get back to the action. All right, Robbie, the price of poker going up now. 60,000, 120,000 are the blinds with a 15K ante. So glad you joined us tonight here on the HPT as we're giving out a whole lot of cash. Up top, $142,386. Mike D's going to open up with a raise to $250 with his ace-8. Now over to Jeremy. He's got ace-6.
Boy, there's been an awful lot of aces showing up tonight already.
Jeremy's going to fold on the button. Now over to Narco Cop. He looks down at 9-5. He's going to fold. Now over to Robin the big blind. Looks down at king-5. Building a small castle there with his chips, it looks like. Always a good problem to have.
These are good problems. Looks like he might be wanting to defend here with the king-5 of spades.
Raise was up to $250,000 by Mike D. And Rob's going to go ahead and make the call with his king-5 suited in spades. Spades have been good to Rob.
They have indeed.
And the flop is king-7-5. Wow.
Being good to him, he flops 2 pair.
Yahtzee. 2 pair for Rob, and he's just going to check over to Mike D. And Mike D probably with the standard continuation bet now. He's reaching for chips, and he's going to make a wager. Looks like $250,000. Now Rob probably just should flat here.
Absolutely. Trap, trap, trap. Try to tree this squirrel.
Let's get all those chips. Hopefully the ace comes on the turn, and you'll eliminate a player just like that. A pot of over 1 million chips now. We go to the turn card. It's the deuce of diamonds.
Now, once I've decided just to flat on the flop, now you got to check and give him a little rope.
Rob's 34 years old from Chicago, Illinois. He checks over to Mike D. And Mike D, he's not going away. He's going to continue to bet, this time $475,000.
I think this is where I'd have to spring that trap, though. I think I'd have to raise now.
Rob loves the situation. It's just a matter of how much he's going to raise here, and he's putting those chips into the middle. Looks like it's going to be a raise to $1 million. Now, Mike D just kind of got caught with his hand in the cookie jar here, right? He's just got the ace, and he's got to fold. And boy, Robbie, he just leaked a bunch of chips into that pot. The winner is Rob, and we'll see if he can continue his quest to be our next HPT champion.
With the elimination of Greg in 5th place, we are down to our final 4 players. He took home over $30,000, and the action is heating up. Don't go away. Welcome back to the HPT here at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in East Chicago. We are down to our final 4 players. Let's get the cards in the air.
It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. Robbie, 4 players remain. We can only have 1 champion.
It's like Highlander, James. There can only be one, and right now, Rob is our new chip leader.
Blinds are 60,000, 120,000 with a 15K ante. I love watching four-handed poker here on the HPT. Hand selections open up a little bit. It's a real cat and mouse game.
Truly is. This is where the metagame really comes into play.
Rob just on an all-out heater here. He's going to raise it up to 250,000 with a small pocket pair. Pocket fours. Action over to Jeremy.
Jeremy looks like he's reaching for more than just a call.
Haven't seen a whole lot out of Jeremy here recently. But yeah, these look like raisin chips to me. And he's going to do just that.
This is actually a really tough spot for Rob with the baby pair.
It's so hard to play those baby pair when you're bet back like that, when you're re-raised, because fours are already small enough, and then you get re-raised, and they start to look even smaller.
The problem is there's not many good flops for small pairs. That's the real problem with this hand.
And the flop is 9-6 Trey. That helps neither player, Robbie.
Well, actually a relatively good flop for 2 fours. At least you have 1 undercard on the board.
Jeremy's going to check over to Rob, and Rob checks back. Both players electing to see a free card, and it's the 7 of spades.
Well, that gives Rob a gut shot straight draw now. A 5 to complete this straight.
Jeremy's reaching for chips now. It's going to be a tough call for Rob to make no matter what he bets here if you really want to know the truth. Even though we know he's ahead, the bet's 320,000. Again, reading your opponent. So important in poker, especially four-handed.
It sure is, James. And I'll tell you what, I think Rob actually thinks he has the best hand here.
Well, you know, Jeremy could be raising with an ace-king or an ace-10 or an ace-queen. That's probably what Rob's thinking, and his fours are good here. River card now is the deuce of diamonds, so helps Jeremy a little bit, but all he can really do here is try to make a big bet, but he's going to check it over to Rob, and I think Rob's just going to flip over his cards.
Well, Jeremy had to check on the river because now he's got showdown value. He did make a pair on the river.
And how about Rob? This guy continues to catch cards, drag pots. It's unbelievable the heater this guy's on. If he wins, he'll be our next HPT champion and go home with $142,386. I'm James Larson, joined by Robert Williamson III. We're so glad you joined us tonight here on the HPT. I got a feeling we're going to be in for kind of a wild finish.
Speaking of wild, looks like Narco Cop sees an ace that he likes, ace-8.
Mike's going to raise.
He's going to go ahead and raise it up to $240,000. He's a fan favorite around these parts.
And speaking of ace-8, Rob's also got ace-8.
And he's on the button, and they're suited, and he's got the sunglasses. Everything's going right for this guy.
This is a real marginal spot. Ace-9, ace-10, yes, I definitely call here. I don't know, ace-8, I don't mind raising with ace-8, but I'm really not a real big fan of calling with ace-8, James.
And Rob's going to make the call.
Rob's going to make the call. Mike D with nothing. He's going to muck his cards in. Look at this. Jeremy woke up with pocket kings.
The mustache is working.
Unbelievable. This is going to be big. He's reaching for raising chips. I expect a 3-bet here.
Absolutely. You have to protect those 2 kings right now with 2 opponents in the pot. You really want to play those big pairs against 1 opponent, not 2.
Jeremy is an exterminator. We talked about that. He's from Joliet, Illinois. He was down to just 3,000 chips after the dinner break of day 1. He grinded it back, and now he's one of these final 4 at this nationally televised final table, and he's going to do a 3-bet just like we talked about to 770,000.
Yeah, kind of a big re-raise. I think I would have preferred if he re-raised a little less. You got to get your big hands paid off. That's what I've discovered, James.
So Mike and Rob both folding. The winner of the hand is Jeremy. He's an exterminator from Joliet, Illinois. Wants to give a shout out to his 2 daughters watching at home, as well as his girlfriend, Caitlin. He's a pleasure to be around. We got a chance to talk to him this weekend and sat in the stadium lounge with him and watched a little TV and had a couple of drinks. And great to see that he made his first final table. Action is folded to Jeremy. He's on the button, looks down at 1 queen and a 10. That's queen 10 of diamonds. I still love that hat. It's a mustache on a hat.
But it's a pretty powerful mustache as of the last hand.
Yeah, fear the stash, my friend. Fear the stash. And he's going to go ahead and raise it up to 250,000. I talked about this at the top of the show. It seems like these heaters are very streaky, and they go from one player to the next player. Right now, things going well for Jeremy. Action on Rob now.
Well, he might have met a little resistance here. Rob wakes up with an ace. But ace deuce, see, I'm not a big fan. Even though he was in the big blind, I can understand that part.
Now remember, Rob's kind of riding his heater out still because he's been playing some great poker and catching some great cards. The flop is Jack 8-5. Rob will be first.
Well, gut shot draw for Jeremy. Not much for Rob. This doesn't fit his hand at all.
Rob checks, action on Jeremy, so Jeremy's going to check as well. So now we're going to go to the turn card. It's the deuce of clubs.
Well, Rob already had the best hand, but now I think that deuce gives him a little more reassurance that he really does have the best hand.
He's going to go ahead and reach for chips here. Rob's going to bet $265,000.
Well, it should be a pretty easy call with a gut shot and an overcard to the board for Jeremy.
Not so much. Jeremy's going to fold his hand, and there's a reason we're up here talking in the booth, and they're down there playing poker. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. We're broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. I'm James Larson, joined by the pride of Texas, Mr. Robert Williamson III. Let's take a look at those chip counts, Robbie.
I'll tell you what, Rob's still up top and building his chip lead. Jeremy close behind. Mike Y and Mike D, the battle of the basements, are our two short stacks.
Payout tonight for your champion, it's not a huge amount, just $142,386. That's it.
Try to ask a cab driver to borrow and see what he tells you.
That's a whole lot of cash, my friend. Somebody's going to be real happy. Action is folded around to our chip leader. That's Rob. Looks down at 9-8 on the button. Rob's going to go ahead and raise to $250,000. Boy, Mike D just not catching any cards at the moment. Action over to Jeremy, the man with the mustache hat. Looks down at Jack 4. He's in the big blind. We'll see if he defends. The raise was to $250,000. And Jeremy's going to make the call.
Once again, Jeremy, I think he is what I call a known blind defender. He defends almost every time for the big blind.
Got into this event on a satellite qualifier. The flop is Queen 9 deuce, couple of spades.
Rob flops middle pair. No help for Jeremy, but you know what? He's so creative, James. I don't think he always needs a hand to win these pots.
Both players checking that flop. We go to the turn. And the turn card is the 5 of clubs. Boy, a whole lot of nothing there for Jeremy.
Yeah, and I think Rob actually decided to check there. More of a trapping type check than he was afraid that he was actually beat.
Next player eliminated is going to go home with $40,550. So every hand, every chip, so important when you get down to four-handed poker like this. It's a lot of fun to watch, too.
And Rob's going to make the call.
So the bet by Jeremy is $160,000, and Rob is going to make the call.
And he heads up to the river here. Let's see
We go to the river now.
River card is the 7.
And that river card is the 7 of hearts. So, boy, all Jeremy can really do here to win this pot is to make a sizable bet here on the river.
Well, he'd have to make a very big bet to get Rob to fold after checking that flop.
And the bet is $315,000, and I think Rob's going to make this call. Yeah, he's going to do just that.
Yeah, Rob makes the call.
He puts it in the middle, and I think all Jeremy can do is put his cards in the muck. Rob's going to see that he's going to win this pot of almost 1.6 million chips. So the rich get richer as our chip leader drags another pot. Blinds are $60,000, $120,000 with a $15K ante. Great field out here. We started with 432 entries. We paid 45, a prize pool of just over 619,000. It's just awesome to see this event grow. All right, well, Mike D's picking this spot to get all his chips in the middle. He's all in on the button with Queen Jack suited in clubs. Jeremy gets out of the way.
With two face cards, I don't blame Mike D. I probably would have too, but as we just saw, the other Mike woke up with King Jack and actually has Mike D dominating.
Yeah, Narco Cop in a good spot here to knock out a player, pick up a big pot. And Mike D, you know, he's catching fire early, but not so much here these last few orbits and these last few rounds of this final table.
An interesting flop, James. 8-9 ace, 2 clubs, straight draw, and a flush draw for Mike D.
Turn card now is another 8, this time the 8 of spades, so one street left to go for Mike D.
And there's his magical club, and he fills in his flush.
So the 3 of clubs comes on the river, a huge double up for Mike D, and bad news for the other Mike. Narco Cop is on life support.
Sure is.
He's going to have to call in some firefighters or another police officer to help him out of this one.
Definitely going to need backup.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing some great poker here on the HPT. We've seen it all week. There's just something about the Chicagoland area that brings out some really great players, and we've seen some exciting poker. Action is on Mike D, who recently just doubled up. He folds his hand over to Jeremy now. Jeremy looks down at 10-9. He's on the button. Remember, it's four-handed poker, so the hand selection gets a little more open, and you can play a few more hands and see a few more flops.
Well, especially when you're on the button. It's a pretty powerful position because you're going to have position on every street of action.
It's also really powerful when you have a mustache on your ball cap. That just means power. And now Mike's going to go all in. Narco Cop says, I've got an ace. Let's get our chips in the middle. Rob's going to fold. Action back to Jeremy. Just $270,000 more for him to make the call. I assume he's going to do that. We're going to flip over our cards, and Mike's going to see that he is going to be in the lead. Jeremy hasn't called yet.
He's taking a lot more time to make that call than I thought he would.
A little bit more time, and he's going to see that he's behind right now. He's got 10-9 going up against the ace tray. And Narco Cop's really been on a roller coaster ride at this final table. He's been up, he's been down, he's been all over the place. The flop is Queen 7-6, couple of clubs.
Gut shot draw for Jeremy. He needs an 8. Mike Y is the one that is all in, and his life is on the line.
Turn card now is the king of clubs, and wow, look at all the outs Jeremy has now to win this hand.
That was a monster card for Jeremy's hand. He has a flush draw. He has 2 straight draws, an 8 for a jack, and also a 9 and a 10 get him out of the trap too.
Boy, what is that, like half the deck? The river card is the jack of hearts. And that's going to do it for the Narco Cop. He's going to go home with almost $41,000. And Robert, I'll be honest, I'm sad to see him leave. It was kind of fun to watch at the table.
He will be missed. I'd like to say thank you very much for serving us in the Chicago Police Department. Mike Unan, congratulations.
And when we come back, 3 players remain. The action will continue. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Robert Williamson III. And really, the big story tonight, the story, is the guy that's got the name the same as you, Rob. He's crushing everybody.
There's something consistent about that. I got to root for my namesake here. So far right now, he's steamrolling up past $7 million in chips.
Third place money, $58,503. Not a bad payday. $87,909 for second. And for first place, $142,386. Unbelievable cash. And we're giving it away right here on the HPT. Make sure to check out our webpage if you want to play an event. All the information is at hptpoker.com. Action is on Mike D.
And he looks down at 2 4s. He announces all in.
Yeah, I kind of thought we were going to see that. It's a baby pair, but it's 3-handed. And Mike's on the short stack. He gets his chips all in the middle. And action now over to Jeremy.
I call.
And Jeremy's going to make the call. And he's got ace-6, so not 1 over, but 2 overs. The ace and the 6. Jeremy's going to go heads up here. So Mike D with his pocket 4s has his tournament life on the line.
Jeremy's got about best case scenario here. He's got a coin flip.
Yeah, it's definitely a coin flip. It's not fun to be flipping for your life. And look at this.
Right in the window.
Ace, 10, 7. Couple of clubs, but most importantly, the ace falls, and that puts Jeremy in the lead, and now the tray of hearts. So fewer outs for Mike D now. He can only catch 1 of the 4s.
Only 1 out in the deck, the 4 of diamonds.
6 of diamonds hits the river, and that's going to do it for Mike D. He's eliminated, going out in 3rd place, but a great payday for him, $58,503. He played great here at this final table.
He sure did. I'll tell you what, he got it in on a classic coin flip hand, and you got to win coin flips to win tournaments, James.
And now it's time in the program for Heads Up Poker, my favorite part here on the HPT. 2 players remain. Will it be Rob or will it be Jeremy? Let's get right to the action. Blinds are $60,000, $120,000 with a $15K ante. It's Rob and it's Jeremy. We will crown a champion tonight right here on the HPT. Rob's going to raise to $260,000. Action over to Jeremy. Talked about it earlier. He's an exterminator by day, so he's killing bugs. He wakes up every morning, he kills bugs.
Well, actually, Jeremy's really an exterminator both at day and night because he says he's a poker grinder at night, and that's exterminating if anything is.
The flop is 9 trade deuce, couple of spades, so a little bit of something for everybody there.
Middle pair for both players, but Jeremy's got the better kicker, which could come into play here.
Jeremy bets 220,000. Amazing that we're going to put a kicker into play that's a 6, beating a 5. But that's heads-up poker. A pot of almost 1 million chips. It's a check, and now Rob bets 280,000, and Jeremy quickly makes that call. So we go to the river card now, and look at this. It's the 4 of spades.
Well, that might slow somebody down, but then again, it might not.
Jeremy bets 420,000. Rob, with just a pair of 3s, is going to make this call, and he's going to see that the kicker is going to play. Unbelievable. He's got to flip it over. He's playing it to the 5. Jeremy's playing it to the 6.
10-9-6, the 6 kicker.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Heads-up poker at its best here, Robert Williamson III.
That was a thin line for sure.
And you know what's important about that hand is winning that first hand of heads-up. It gives you a little bit of confidence. Wasn't a huge hand, but Jeremy won, and he needs that confidence. Confidence is so important in heads-up poker. All right, well, one of these players is going to leave with a shiny bracelet. They're also going to go home with $142,386. There's not much we can do for the second place guy except send him home with like $87,909. Jeremy's going to raise to $360,000, and Rob quickly makes the call. The flop is 7-5 deuce, couple of hearts.
And Jeremy flops a flush draw, and Rob decides to check behind. I like to protect those kind of pairs.
And look at this, the turn card. Bingo, bango, bongo. 4 of hearts. That's a flush for Jeremy.
But it's also an open-end straight flush for Rob.
Jeremy now reaching for chips, and he's going to make a bet of $325,000.
And Rob's got to think he might have the best hand still.
It's just going to say that. The 5 of spades now comes on the river, so Rob improves to 2 pair. Jeremy's got the best of it here with his flush. Boy, I don't know if Rob can put Jeremy on 2 hearts.
I think Rob's going to have to pay Jeremy off.
The bet is $625,000. I like the bet size, and it's enough to make a call. Rob does make the call, and Jeremy's going to win the hand. So the momentum is really changing to the other side of the table.
Yep, since we've been heads up, Jeremy has so far dominated the play.
Jeremy's trying to build a bankroll, he told me, so he can better himself and his family. He runs his pest control company with his father. He's a hard worker. He's happy to make it to this HPT final table. Why wouldn't you be happy? We're playing for a whole lot of cash on national television. Jeremy's going to raise to $355,000. Rob's going to make the call.
And a speculative call here, but you have to defend a lot on your blinds in heads-up poker.
Flop is 9, trade, deuce, couple of hearts, an open-ended straight draw for Rob. Jeremy catches a 9 to better his hand.
This could be fireworks here. Rob with an open-end straight draw, Jeremy with top pair.
Jeremy bets $350,000. And now Rob's going to raise it up, as I kind of thought he might do here. He's going to raise to $800,000.
I call.
And Jeremy's going to make the call. He's going to string him along.
Turn card is the King of Clubs.
King of Clubs now comes on the turn. Rob's going to check over to Jeremy. Jeremy's still in the lead, and he's going to check back. Interesting, Robert.
Really surprised that Jeremy didn't bet there.
And now we go to the river card, which is the 10 of hearts. Rob with absolutely nothing. He's just going to try to bluff at this pot.
And I think now I understand Jeremy's check on the turn. He's decided the best way of getting paid off from Rob is let him bluff his money off.
Once again, position, my friend, so important in poker.
And in heads-up poker, it's everything.
Absolutely. And look at this, a bet of $1.3 million. Not sure that's going to be enough for Jeremy to fold, and he's going to look him up and make the call. And this is going to be a huge pot, just under 5 million chips, and Jeremy is cruising right along. We'll see if he can become our next HPT champ. You are watching exclusive final table coverage of the HPT as we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago. James Larson is my name, joined by Robert Williamson III. Heads up, poker continues. I keep promising the viewers we are going to crown a champion tonight, Robert. It's going to happen.
And James, we've got a new chip leader, Jeremy, now with a 6-1 advantage.
Unbelievable how things are just going his way here at this final table. Action is on Rob. Looks down at 9-8 of clubs. And he's going to go ahead and make the call. Option now to Jeremy. I like to see Jeremy maybe push him around a little bit here. Now he's got the chips to do it. He's going to elect to check his option.
With any king or ace in my hand right there, James, I'm shoving.
It's kind of what I was thinking too. Flop now is king, jack, 9, couple of spades. So a great flop for Jeremy.
And Rob caught a piece too. He has bottom pair.
Rob, you can see it on his face. He's a little dejected. Not really playing bad, just not getting lucky and not catching the cards heads up. Turn card now is the 5 of diamonds. And Jeremy reaching for chips. He's so close to his first HPT title. He can taste it. And he's got the hat.
And it's got the mustache.
The mustache.
Fear the mustache.
Yeah, he's got the mustache on the hat. It's very important. Wonder where I can get one of those. I'll have to ask him after the final table. The bet is $710,000. And look at this.
Rob
He's
goes all in. This is it, folks.
That's a snap call, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy's going to flip over his hand and see he's in the lead. Only thing Rob can catch here is an 8 or a 9.
Or his night is done.
10 of hearts hits the river, Robbie, and that's it. We've got a brand new champion. Jeremy's going home with the bracelet, the title, and most importantly, the cash.
Once he got heads up, James, he just steamrolled right over Rob.
Congratulations to Rob going out in second place. A nice payday, almost $88,000, and he's joined with Amanda Leatherman.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Robert, who just finished second here at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel here in East Chicago. How are you feeling right now?
A little disappointed, you know. I obviously was hoping for the win. Jeremy played great, heads up, pretty much ran me over. He deserves it. He's going to be a great HPT champ. And, you know, I came into the final table in 8th place, so I can't be too upset with the second place finish, but certainly was playing for the win, so a little disappointed at the moment.
I understand. You definitely had a good run, though. You're taking home like $87,000. But
Yep.
what was that turning point hand for you when he turned over that 9?
You know, there really was not a single turning point hand. I mean, he pretty much just, you know, he just ran me over heads up. I think it all started when the first hand of the match, you know, he had a pair of 3s versus my pair of 3s, and he had a 6 kicker that played, and that kind of set the tone for the match.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to see? Are we going to see you at a next HPT event? Any more of them?
Yeah, definitely. I love the HPT. Structures are great, and they're really well run, so I'll be back for sure.
Okay, I know you're disappointed, but are you going to party tonight?
Definitely, for sure.
Okay, maybe I'll see you there. Thank you.
I hope so.
Back to you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, guys. And once again, congratulations to Rob going out in second place. But the star of tonight's program is Jeremy. He's going home with the title. And how about this payday? $142,386. He's joined with Amanda Leatherman.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with the winner, Jeremy, of the HPT Ameristar East Chicago event. How excited are you right now?
I don't even know what to say. I am extremely excited. This is really going to change my life, so I couldn't be more appreciative of it.
Do you think it had anything to do with that mustache hat you were wearing?
I told everybody standing in my crowd that every time I get a new hat, I seem to do well. So they took my Bears hat from me, said I couldn't wear a Bears logo, so I decided to roll with the mustache hat today, and got a new hat, and it worked out.
You know what's funny? I was talking to you before the tournament even started, and you said, how are these interviews going to go? And I said, well, when you bust out and you go, no, when I win. And
That's
what?
right.
Here we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to bust out. I was trying to take it as far as I could.
And even the second place finisher, Robert, said you played fantastically, and he was really, really, really nice about you, so.
Yeah, I couldn't be more appreciative. He's a great player, and he gave me some trouble when we were like 8-9 handed, and after that, things started falling my way, so I really don't know what else to say.
Well, you're taking home a lot of money.
Heads up, and yeah, I'm taking home quite a bit. You sure enjoy it.
Where are we going to see you next?
I'm not sure. Probably take a little time off, and then I'll probably be at another event soon.
It better be an HPT event.
I hope so.
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. And once again, congratulations to Jeremy. What a payday and what a title right here on the HPT. And it was a first for us. I don't think we've ever had an exterminator win a title.
Exterminator by day, but he's also an exterminator by night, in the poker world, that is.
I want to thank all of our players. We had 432 entries. What a prize pool, almost $620,000. I also want to thank everybody here at this fabulous property, the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. We hope to come back here very soon and have another successful tournament just like the one we had this week. Now, if you're watching this and you think you'd like to play on the national stage, well, why not give it a shot? Check out our webpage at hptpoker.com, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the Unreal Cash. For Amanda Leatherman, he's Robert Williamson III. I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time right here on the HPT.